from patreon.com/chobble. Targeting local areas, part 2. I recently re-listened to my first post on this Patreon channel about targeting local areas, and I thought that what could be quite useful would be to run through an example of this for a fictional real-life business. And I can show you what the process would be like to create these location-based service pages on your website. So let's imagine that we're starting a fitness studio in Prestwich, which is where I live. And we want to create pages on our website that are for other search terms for nearby towns. Because really we want people from Whitefield or Radcliffe or any of the other places that are near me in North Manchester to also know about this fitness studio, because they could be a customer just as easily as someone from Prestwich could be. This also applies if you're based in an area and you visit people at their address. You probably want people from the areas that you operate in to find your website even though you're not in their exact town. So here we're going to create a service page for my fitness classes in Whitefield. So you can see here on the right side of the page, I've created a bunch of questions that I think you could probably ask very similar questions about for the service areas that you target. So to run through them very quickly, we've got: how will residents get to my business? What local businesses are similar to mine? What makes my business different from them? Do I have any testimonials from this area? Do I contribute to the community in this area? Do the demographics of this area affect my work there? Which venues in this area have I worked with? What's the logistical quirks of working in this area? And how long have I been working in this area? And I think just filling out this kind of information, and I'm just going to do it in bullet points here, is a pretty good start for creating these service-based pages. So first off, we've got: how will residents get to my business? Well, I don't need to do much Googling for this. Whitefield is only around the corner. So they could either travel 1 or 2 stops on the Metrolink. They could get a bus that goes down Bury Old or New Road. They could drive. It's only ever going to be a maximum 10 minutes from anywhere in Whitefield to anywhere in Prestwich. Or they could walk. Walking from Whitefield to Prestwich probably only takes 25 to 40 minutes depending on whereabouts you are. So what local businesses are similar to mine? So I don't know much about the fitness scene in Whitefield, so let's have a search here. Fitness classes, Whitefield. So we can see we've got a few gyms, the women's gym, Gymophobics. There's some big brand name gyms that'll do organised classes like Total Fitness and the Gym Group and Whitefield Pilates. So we've got here, let's make some notes. We've got women's gym, Total Fitness and the Gym Group. And we've also got Gymophobics. What makes my business different from theirs? Let's imagine that I'm creating a website here for beginners to fitness that's for all genders. So unlike Total Fitness or the Gym Group, mine's going to be a small business where you'll get personal advice. My fitness classes are going to be for beginners, so we'll say that it's for beginners. It's going to be slightly more expensive than the Gym Group, but slightly less expensive than Total Fitness. We can say that it's going to be cheaper than the expensive gym. And let's also say that we're open in the evenings, because I know that that's a problem with some smaller gyms. So next question, do I have any testimonials from this area? So let's say that I've been collecting reviews on my Google Maps listing or on Trustpilot or on Facebook. It might be worth having a bit of a look through and see if there's any testimonials or any reviews that mention Whitefield. It's quite likely that you will have some that mention different towns. They might have compared you to a service from their town. They might talk about how they couldn't find what they were looking for in their town. So let's say here that we found a few testimonials. We found one from Emma, who talks about how we're friendlier than the big gyms. Then let's say we've got one from Stuart, who says he rides his bike down from Whitefield and parks it in our bike lock outside. And then let's say we've got one from Stefan, who is a total beginner and doesn't mention anything about Whitefield, but it's nice to have a testimonial on the page from him anyway. So you'll see here what I'm getting at. We're creating a bit of a list here of things that sell this business to a potential customer from Whitefield. So let's continue a bit here. So next up we've got, do I contribute to the community in this area? Let's say that this gym organises runs around Springwater Park in Whitefield. Next up we've got, do the demographics of this area affect my work there? Well, Whitefield, like Prestwich, is largely a commuter town, and a lot of people will be travelling to Manchester or to Bury to do their jobs. And so it's quite likely that they'll be wanting to pop into a gym on the way back from their job, which is perfect for anyone who lives in Whitefield and travels to Manchester, because they'll be passing through Prestwich on their way. So I can say, yeah, it does affect it, that if you're commuting to Manchester, you can stop in on your way home, because we're open in the evenings. So which venues have I worked with this in this area? Well, we've already got the Springwater Park, and that might be enough. What are the logistical quirks of working in this area? Well, one thing that could be bad between Prestwich and Whitefield, even though we're only next to each other, the traffic at rush hour on the main motorway junction between the two towns can make travelling between them surprisingly slow. So we might want to say that you might want to stagger your visit so it doesn't collide with rush hour. Rush hour traffic can be bad. And how long have I been working in this area? Well, this doesn't really apply to a fitness class, but we can say the total time that the fitness class has been running, so let's say it's been going for 3 years. So now you'll see we've got a pretty good file that describes quite a lot about this business and its specifics to Whitefield, which might seem like a strange thing to talk about for a fitness class that's in Prestwich, a different town. But you'll see really there's quite a few things we've thought of, even for this kind of strange, contrived example. So now what I'm going to do, and I don't advise this, but I know how people are and I know that people like to take shortcuts, so it's worth talking about. I'm going to feed this to AI and I'm going to ask it to generate the framework of a page for me. So I've opened the chat here on the left hand side to my favourite AI model at the minute, Claude Sonnet 4, but really any will do. The important thing to remember here is we're using this to give us a framework for the page and not so much to write every single word of it. It should still be in your voice. So I'm going to prompt the AI with exactly what I'm doing and I'll say, I'm writing a page on my website for fitness classes in Prestwich, trying to target potential site visitors in Whitefield. The fitness class is open late on weekdays and caters to total beginners. I'm going to paste a bunch of notes about my business and Whitefield, and I want you to give me the outline of a page for my website targeting Whitefield visitors. Write in concise, slightly informal British English. And then I'm going to paste the whole text that I've just copied from my document on the right, and let's see what it gives us. Okay, so you see it's given us quite a short layout of what this page could look like. Fitness classes in Prestwich for Whitefield residents. It's an easy journey from Whitefield. Get into our classes couldn't be simpler. Hop on the Metrolink for just 1 or 2 stops. Catch a bus down Bury Old or New Road, or it's a quick 10-minute drive max. Perfect for popping in on your way home from work in Manchester. Why choose us over the big gyms? We know Whitefield has plenty of options like Total Fitness and the gym group, but here's what makes us different. Proper personal attention. We're a small business that actually gets to know you. Total beginner friendly. No intimidating muscle heads or complicated equipment. Evening classes that work around your commute. Better value than those pricey gym memberships. What Whitefield locals say. And then it's got some made up quotes that we would want to fix with actual real testimonials. And then we've got part of your community and a bit of bump about how we've been welcoming Whitefield residents for 3 years now, and we even support the Springwater Park runs, whether you're cycling over like Stuart or you just want somewhere that feels more personal than the chain gyms. We're here for you. Ready to give it a go? Book your beginner friendly class today. Now I would say that this content isn't very good still, but it's a good basis for the page. The things that I think are missing from it are, I think the wording still sounds quite AI-y in that it's kind of it doesn't sound particularly Manchester-y. And I think some of the wording is a bit strange, like intimidating muscle heads. I don't know if I would put that on a page about my gym. I think I'd probably as well make sure that I had a better call to action. So I would say, please call us, or fill in the contact form, or drop us an email. Make it really obvious what you want the next step to be. I would also probably go into some detail about pricing and answer some specific questions that people might have. So I might mention on here the types of equipment that we've got, how much it costs, what kind of offers we have. Basically, I'm making a landing page that someone can land on as an alternative to my homepage that contains everything that they need to know about my business, tailored specifically for them being from Whitefield. So I hope this has been useful. I think by following a plan like this, you can probably create a page for a town near you in probably just an hour or two. And then that page will live forever on your website, attracting visitors from that town. So the work that you put in here now, in terms of thinking about how your business can appeal to people from nearby towns and what specific aspects of being in that town apply to your business, pays off forever and ever and ever, because that Google will index that page and it will always show. So don't feel like you have to get 10 pages knocked out today. Don't feel tempted to copy and paste them, because as we've seen, there's quite a lot of specific stuff about Whitefield in here. You couldn't just copy this and change the word Whitefield to Radcliffe, and that's a good thing, because you want this page to be very specific to fitness classes in Prestwich for Whitefield residents. So take your time building up these pages, really think about the specifics. I'm going to paste these questions that I've asked into the notes for this Patreon post, so you can copy them and fill out a page just like I've done here. And I hope this gives you some good inspiration for creating these pages on your site that target specific service areas, because I've seen them work really, really well. I've even seen them work okay on people who just copy and paste the same waffle over and over, but I've seen them work exceptionally well on websites that put a bit of effort into thinking about what are the specific nuances of delivering that service in that area. Okay, as always, I hope this has been useful. Any questions, please leave me a comment, or if you've got any ideas for future posts, as ever, I'm all ears. Alright, take care.